Right now we're going to talk about one of the biggest concerns when it comes to homeowners. It's your foundation. Your foundation is the solid structure that your home sits on. A slab of concrete is typically 4 inches thick with beams that vary in size depending on the type of soil. An average house weighs between 80 and 160,000 pounds. That's important because it gives you an idea of how much weight is being placed on a 4-inch slab. Now, when you live in San Antonio and areas of South Texas, you're dealing with the droughts. And these droughts can have a significant effect on your foundation and its performance because of the lack of water. Yes, watering your lawn will make your grass green, but that's not what's most important. Watering your house is the best, most beneficial thing that you can do for your foundation. Now, when I say droughts, you have to understand that there will be restrictions on when you can water. It has happened many summers in a row here in San Antonio, and the easiest way to eliminate this problem is to add a sprinkler system to your home's to-do list. Even if you don't get a sprinkler system for your entire lawn, get one to go around the foundation. There are also drip systems that can be installed, and even a simpler option would be a soaker hose. Now let's take a walk around the outside of your house. I'm going to point out some of the important areas that you, the homeowner, can address before it gets to the point of costly repairs. Dry soil is important to note because that means there's a lack of moisture that your foundation really needs. Dry dirt under and around your home will crush from the weight of that 80 to 160,000 pound home, and your house will settle. Your slab may not crack down the middle, but I promise it will settle. Then we'll go into more depth in the irrigation system. As important as watering around your foundation is, you have to make sure you have proper slope away from your foundation. Now, I know we're telling you to water, but at the same time, we're telling you to make sure water doesn't pool at the foundation. This is because water has to be evenly distributed to all areas of the foundation equally. If water is standing at one area and the other side is dry as a bone, that's going to cause uneven settling of your foundation. Another tip are these drain blocks. You need them to keep water away from the house. The goal is to water 12 to 15 inches away from the foundation, and also making sure that your gutters are free of debris like leaves and shingle granules. If debris builds up in the gutters of one side of the house and not the others, then we have the same thing, watering to one side of the foundation as opposed to all sides. Trees too close to your home can definitely be an issue when it comes to your foundation as well as plumbing. Usually you don't see foundation issues for 15 or so years because the tree roots haven't reached the foundation yet. So before you plant that little tree, just make sure you're far enough away from the foundation. Now let's look at your parge coating. That's this tall mortar covered area that looks like your foundation. This is actually a protective waterproof barrier around the outside of your foundation. It keeps the foundation airtight and free of water penetration, as well as giving you a pretty end product to look at. But the parge coating can crack or flake, even break off in sections. This does not mean that your foundation is bad, but it can lead to foundation issues. A lot of the slabs now have post-tension cables running through them. This is important because you need to at least understand how they benefit your home. These steel cables are placed in the slab by engineers depending on the layout of the structure. Now, once the slab dries to a certain point, then extreme tension is added to these cables, pulling the foundation together in hopes that your foundation won't break or crack down the middle, but will settle from one side to the other. And that goes back to even watering around your foundation. Without the protective parge coating, these cables can rust, and the more they're left exposed, the further into the cable rust goes, till at some point the cable gets so weak that it breaks. Then you will see this. Popped cable ends with significant cracking to the inside and outside walls, some of the ceilings and some of the floors. This house is scheduled for $4,000 in repairs when it could have easily been prevented for $5. You can buy Quickcrete at any local hardware store, and it's going to cost you about $2 or $3. What I'm using is just a Tupperware container. Now I'm going to add just the right amount of water to get the right thickness. And just stir it up until it looks almost like cake batter. I'm just going to cover up the area of parge coating that's come off. Now I'm going to use my hand, but you can also use a tool. You also want to make sure that you cover any kind of metal or rebar ends that are poking through the foundation. I know I've been saying a lot about San Antonio, but these tips about dry soil and water diversion are important to most areas in Texas and a lot of areas in Oklahoma. Contact a local foundation company or an engineering firm to find out what you can do to help your foundation and possibly prevent a disaster. Remember, the worst thing that you can do is nothing.